First of hand, Mr. Chair.
I'd like to call to order the regular monthly meeting for April for the Grayson County Board of Supervisors. And thank everyone for being here. This time I'd like to open with the invocation and the pledge to be led by Dr. Thomason.
Heavenly Father God, we thank you for this beautiful day and for all of your many blessings, Lord. We thank you for everyone here tonight and everyone who may be watching from home, all those with interest in your county. We pray, Lord, that you would just lead, guide, and direct us in the way that you would have us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to remind everyone of the decorum, which is listed on the back of our agenda. And also, if you have any cell phones at this time, if you would, please just silence them. And this time, entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda and consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to amend the agenda to add under presentations, Megan Barnes, NRPEC Emergency Services, and under old business, VDOT SSYP recommendations.
All right, we have a motion before the board. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Chair also aye. Okay, doesn't appear that we have any public hearing. So we'll lead us to the presentations. And Megan, you're up.
Well, this will be a lot quicker than that. So.
Making sure it's just on the
Yes. Thank you guys for letting me speak this evening. My name is Megan Barnes. I'm a volunteer firefighter paramedic here in Grayson County. I serve with Vale Search and Rescue. I wanted to bring you guys tonight. This is a little quick for us. The papers that you have in front of you are just some things that I want to point out that we're currently doing within the county. So the first document that you see there is going to be the last month's response data for all of the EMS and fire departments, kind of broken down in who ran what calls. The second one that you have is the first staple document. It's going to be broken down in our dispositions. So that's kind of going to give you an idea of what kind of calls we're running. The cancel prior to arrival says we never made it on scene. Clear means no patient found. Did not respond. That's going to be the calls that the department did not respond to or maybe didn't have a full truck to respond with. Refusal says we got on scene and the patient decided not to go. And then the transports, those are going to be the ones that we actually transported either from the home to the hospital or your inter-facility transports where they went from the hospital to a larger hospital or your returns back to the nursing home. Public assist, that just says that we went out and helped somebody. And I think that pretty much, that lists all of the ones for EMS. Fire, they're also pretty self-explanatory. Cancel, control burns, extinguished, mutual aid calls, those sorts of things. The last page that I wanted to give to you guys gives a different view or a different breakdown. It's still the same amount of calls, but it's kind of broke down in areas. So for example, you'll see it there under Baywood, our first one is 800, and we ran a total of 10 calls in that area. Well, that's anywhere inside the city limits of Galax. That's including Walmart. I saw some, Baywood didn't respond to Walmart, but some of the calls ran during that time was to Walmart. I saw one like over to McDonald's, but it also counts all of them that whenever a department goes to the hospital, pick up a patient and transport them to a different facility or back to their home. So because it includes the hospital. So that number you'll see for most of the departments is going to be a little bit higher. That's going to be their return numbers and things of such. Another example would be looking at numbers 817, 831, and 832. Those are all broken down into freeze, but they're just different chunks of freeze. So that's why Galax Grayson has such a variety of numbers there, because they're going to cover that great area. I did see that Galax Grayson had a couple. One was out to Rugby, and that was actually a transport return home rather than a 911 call. So these numbers still are a little bit, they're accurate, but it doesn't kind of give you the full picture of what they were doing when that call went out. Some things that we've got going on within our community here is currently we are holding an EMT class. This is the third class that I've held in a calendar year. So we have had a total of 9 students to take the class. And then currently I have another roster of 6 students. Out of the previous 9, I've had 6 of them to graduate with their National Registry EMT. They're providing within our county. I had 4 deputies to graduate. One of them ended up going somewhere else. So currently we have 3 of our deputies working here that are also certified EMTs. So that's been a really big asset. In my personal experience, I saw where the deputies arriving on scene, sometimes to make sure the scene is safe. Them having that knowledge of the patient's not doing well was really good to have, because they expedited us. So we're glad that they're working with us as well. Like I said, I've got another 6. We're planning to graduate the first weekend in June, and so they'll be able to test and finish up then. So we should have 6 more EMTs for our county, which is big. I don't think Carroll County has not had an EMT class since the last one I taught, and that's been at least 2 years ago. So I really appreciate you guys' time and let me come talk to you guys. We hope to continue this, and I think that's all that I have. That was all my notes. Do y'all have anything for me?
So you're saying Baywood goes inside of Galax
Yes.
for calls,
Mhm.
and Galax EMS must be somewhere else, or they don't respond to the call, or what?
Yep. Sometimes they can be busy out of the area on another transport, something, and they just need that backup help.
Do you guys get reimbursed for that?
Not the compensable reimbursement from the county. We don't, whenever we go into the city.
Do you bill the?
Yep, we still get to bill the patient equally, just as we do whenever we run inside the county.
But they don't have to pay.
The compensable reimbursement that we get from the county does not apply inside the city limits.
Thank you for the.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Can you talk a little bit about the call in 89 that took place?
Sure.
Do we have time for this? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so I don't remember the exact date, but yep, I was there. I was fixing to sign on for shift and heard all the sirens and commotion. Called CCOM, asked them what they had, and they said, we don't know. We have a hazmat incident. There's a tractor trailer rolled over right at the intersection of Forest Lane and 89. So I was first on scene. The truck driver was still sitting in his tank or his big truck there. I approached the vehicle, saw that there was no leaks or anything, so I felt safe continuing up to it. Asked him what he was hauling, He said ammonium nitrate. If you know anything about the explosion from the farm store in Texas, it was due to the ammonium nitrate. So I was a little shocked when he said that, but he said everything's stable as long as the charges don't mix with it. So he was stuck inside. I didn't have anything to get him out with, but we ended up staying there. I got there about 6:45 and I left there that evening about 4 o'clock. It took 4 wrecker trucks to pick up that one truck to get it up out of the way. We ended up having to call the ones from Withville and Max Meadows they were big enough to lift it up. But it was really neat working together. VDM had to come and secure the scene, make sure that we didn't contaminate the waterway or anything right there. So it was a really great experience. We worked with VDM, like I said, all 4 wrecker companies, including Randy Lineberry, and we had Galax Fire and then Galax Grayson transported the patient who was flown out of the area. And the last I heard is he was flown towards Roanoke because he's from that way. But he's gonna make a full recovery, minimal injuries. He was able to go home that day. So yeah, it was a really great turnout. It worked out perfect. So no problem.
One last thing I'll say is, I just pulled the analytics she's giving data from 911 CCOM for just Grayson. And, third quarter, year to date so far, in Grayson alone, we've had 2,398 calls. And we responded to 1,906 of those this is outside of GGM, so 80%, 79% of those calls. Fire had 476 calls and responded to 464, which is 97%. For various reasons, like you said, there's various reasons for all these, but 2,398 calls year to date so far.
And it's great to point out that Troutdale Rescue is still responding to 100% of their call volume volunteer. So
The calls don't include transports, do they?
Just 911 calls.
And is GGM's the only one that does transports, or do any of the volunteers do it as well?
Mhm.
All of the volunteers?
Freeze, Elk Creek, and Independence are the ones that are doing them the most right now. Baylor's took a couple, but we don't take they're minuscule, like 5 or less a month.
Because you're right there, Kayla.
The principal from the volunteers is 911. If they don't have, so it's one of the issues we talked about before. What's transport look like for the future? We talked about this in the last meeting. How do we shape transport? Certainly challenges with Carol still with transporting patients. So anyway, there we go.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Thanks, man.
Okay, next under registered speakers, Matthew Conway, he's not going to appear tonight. Okay. Which then brings us to public comment period. Do we have anybody signed up?
Yes. Just make sure. Cameron Gillespie.
Okay.
Can you read it?
Cameron Gillespie. I just had a little trouble. I got readers in my pocket. I should have pulled them out. And just state your name and address, and then.
I'm Cameron Gillespie. I'm a medical doctor working in Sparta now. I worked at Twin County for about 15 years. And my address is 300 West Webster Street, Galax, Virginia, right downtown. And I came to introduce myself and say that I'm honored to represent Grayson County at the airport, Twin County. And I'm just learning, so I don't have anything much to tell you except that I intend to be helpful, and anything that you want to tell me, please do, and I'll do the best I can to make everything as good as it can be. That's all I have to say.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your willingness to serve.
We had a meeting this week. Dr. Gillespie was at, I think, Tuesday, I met with Cameron and Rita Key, who are our members, and we went over budgeting, various issues with airport and some other things that, some background history, so they had the full history. So just so you know. Okay.
Next item on the agenda is old business, which we've added the VDOT 6-year plan recommendations.
Yes, sir. So if you look at your packet, we had this at our budget meeting last week, and you wanted some time to review this. Just as a reminder, we received, this is again state funding from VDOT. They received an updated allocation of $665,990. There was an adjustment from projects coming in under budget. And if we go ahead and proceed with Hickory Lane and Walnut Lane, which you previously indicated you'd like to fund, that leaves a balance of $436,692 remaining to additional projects. We want to have a public hearing on May 14th. And so this would, if you can decide on routes today, that'd be very helpful for us, VDOT. I'm sure VDOT would be very thankful. So back to you, sir.
Okay.
I said 415,503. I apologize.
Since we did take the week to ponder over the roads, that anyone have any recommendations for?
Well, I was looking at Mount Olivet. Both would qualify under that 415, but that's in my district, and I want to be fair to everybody, so.
That's in Old Town, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mike, you were speaking about one in trees
No.
where,
Well, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's in the Old Town district, you're right.
You were talking about the one in trees or along Riverside that the dirt was running into the road.
A lot of times it'll wash. It's pretty steep grade.
Okay. Which one is that?
That's Maple Ridge, which I think we could still, let's see. What does that look like to do it all at? Turn my phone off.
Would this alleviate that problem?
Yes.
So this is a tar and chip only project?
Yeah.
Tar and chip only.
They do go in and do any kind of ditching work. They widen it where they can. I had a conversation with Mr. Williams. They try to get 16-foot where they can.
Yeah.
And then once they've finished any kind of prep work, and then they do the tar and chip.
All three would be 9,800 over budget, over the 415. So we'd have to take one of them.
But just remember, what'll happen if you go over, so the last, as you prioritize them, say you come in with 450,000, they'll cut off a portion of the road, and then the next year as money comes, they'll say you want to finish that portion, whatever, or the road on that, and then you have other projects. Make sense?
Yeah, that's good to know. So what if we did the
Is
entire?
that correct? Am I?
On your first page,
Uh-huh.
then you go to your second page
Yep.
where he says Hickory Lane and Walnut are good, and that leaves approximately 415.
Right.
But you go back to your front page, and he's received an updated allocation. So you actually have
436. You're right.
436,000.
Sorry, I said 450. 436, and I looked at the second page, and the green was 415, so it's 436.
Technically.
424 with those without the, so that would give them.
602, that would leave us 11,000.
Does that carry over? Okay.
I could do 3 in one whack.
The reason I brought that up, Mr. Ash, to me, mud and dirt running into the road is a hazard.
Yeah,
And down along the river. You know, a lot of people like to drive up and down the river when the weather's good. So I kind of think that might need to be one of the three.
I've witnessed that several times.
Does anyone have any complaints about any others?
I've had requests, but not complaints. so.
Yeah.
So do we need to make a motion to add those three onto the,
Yeah. We're gonna decide, yeah.
I'll make a motion to add Mount Olivet, both 633 and 625, and Route 896 Maple Ridge Lane, to this plan for the allocated $436,692.
second?
Any further discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Chair also aye. Okay, thank y'all. Next, under new business, brings us to the first resolution, opposing mandatory collective bargaining bills.
Okay, this is, I've talked about this, the cost of this, potential cost of this to the localities. Certainly all these, you know, are decisions as to whether we would like to advocate for or against this. But this resolution basically allows, I'll read a little bit of it and then you want to read it.
I think since we're trying to send a statement as a locality, that probably we'll read this since they're not that long.
Okay. Whereas current Virginia law provides a local option allowing governing bodies to determine whether and how to engage in collective bargaining based on local fiscal capacity, workforce needs, and service priorities. And whereas HB 1263 and SB 378 would eliminate this local option and impose a state mandated one-size-fits-all collective bargaining framework administered by a public employee relations board. Whereas the legislation shifts authority away from locally elected officials and imposes an unfunded mandate with significant fiscal and administrative consequences for local governments and taxpayers. And whereas Virginia localities vary widely in population, resources, and service delivery models and are best positioned to make decisions and reflect their unique circumstances. And whereas mandatory collective bargaining, as proposed, would divert limited local resources from core services to new administrative and bargaining structures without dedicated funding, eliminate local flexibility to align workforce decisions with budgets and service needs, create unpredictable fiscal obligations through arbitration and expanded dispute resolution processes, increase administrative burden, litigation risk, and long-term costs for local taxpayers. And whereas local governments must maintain balanced budgets while continuing to provide essential services, including public safety, education, and infrastructure. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Grayson County Board of Supervisors strongly opposes HB 1263 and SB 378 and any legislation that mandates collective bargaining for local governments. And be further resolved that the board urges the governor and members of the Virginia General Assembly to preserve local authority over workforce and labor relations policies. And be it finally resolved that the clerk of the board shall transmit this resolution to the governor and members of the Virginia General Assembly adopted this night, April 26th, in the county of Grayson, Virginia.
This time, Chair would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
Paul, second.
Second.
Okay. This will require if there is no further discussion, this will require a roll call vote since it is a resolution. Mr. Watson?
Yay.
Mr. Campbell?
Yay.
Mr. Richardson? Yay. Dr. Thompson? Chair also aye. Next on the agenda is a resolution for Route 890, Department of Corrections.
Oh, you don't have this?
I wrote it, but I don't have it.
What's that?
I think I wrote it, but I don't have it. You want me to read it?
Well, let me look at it here. Hang on a second. I thought you had this.
I got it.
Got it?
Yeah,
Okay.
let me look.
See, I thought you had it.
expand a little bit on the reason for,
You got a brief summary on it?
I did not like this one. I'm not sure what this is. This is not Jeremy Hall's.
Nope, definitely not.
But I'll read it.
yeah, I was under the impression for this was for Officer Hall.
No, it says something about improvement around 890 by the Virginia Department of Corrections.
Well, yeah, is that to River North Correctional
Looks
Facility?
like it.
Or somebody put Mount Rogers regional security, and that's all me for. I thought, what is Mount Rogers?
Let us, let's hold on this till we do a little
Okay.
research and we'll come back.
Go ahead,
There's
table if
a
that's.
map too that's supposed
I
to
go with the Ken, if you want to read this data. Yes.
All right, so VDOT recently discovered, this is from Mark Williams, VDOT. VDOT recently discovered that the route adjustment wasn't completed for the route leading to River North Corrections, Route 890, after roadway improvements were made. No public advertising is required for this adjustment. John Bowling, which is at the Transportation Board, John Bowling has prepared the necessary items for presentation to the BOS. Can you finalize the sample resolution and add it to the April 9th board meeting? So apparently at some point in time, they didn't follow through with a portion of the road in the adjustment of the route. So what they're basically asking you to do is approve the sample resolution and submit the AM 4-3 and map to them, approving or allowing VDOT to proceed with their adjustment to the road, which would create maps, just adjust the mapping. It's nothing more than a formality.
This is the
And so I'll
formal
read it,
resolution.
and this is the full resolution. It's coming back. Been working on a lot. So it's a resolution of Grayson County Board of Supervisors for highway system changes resulting from the reconstruction and improvement of Route 890 by the Virginia Department of Corrections. Whereas the Virginia Department of Corrections has reconstructed and improved Route 890 on the new alignment to improve access to Mount Rogers Medium Security Correctional Facility, and whereas the project sketch and VDOT forms AM 4.3 attached and incorporated herein as part of this resolution define adjustments required in the secondary system of state highways as a result of that construction. Whereas the new road serves the same citizens as served by those portions of the old road identified in the project sketch, and VDOT forms AM 4.3 to be abandoned, which portions no longer serve as a public need. And now therefore it be resolved, this board requests the Virginia Department of Transportation to abandon segments C, and D from the secondary system of the state highways pursuant to section 33.2912 of the Code of Virginia. Be it further resolved that the Grayson County Boards of Supervisors request the Virginia Department of Transportation to add segments C and E to the secondary system of state highways pursuant to section 33.2-705 of the Code of Virginia, for which sections that Virginia Department of Corrections has acquired the necessary right-of-way and easements for cuts, fields, and drainage records, of which are on file of the Circuit Court of Grayson County. Be it further resolved that this board requests these segments A and B be accordingly renumbered as part of the secondary system of state highways as identified on the project sketch pursuant to Section 33.2-326 of the Code of Virginia, and be it finally resolved, the Grayson County Board of Supervisors orders that a certified copy of this resolution be forwarded to the resident engineer for the Virginia Department of Transportation.
And was this submitted by Mr. Williams? I have one question because of the language in here that's saying Mount Rogers medium security, which it's called River North.
Yes.
So I just wondered if, we might need to,
Reword that.
is it a pressing matter? I mean,
No, I mean, we need to get it to him, of course, but
yeah.
we can,
Can we make a
Yeah, we-
motion
and
and
To
we
just
proceed?
table.
can get the,
Table it pursuant to make sure that the language is correct.
right,
So they're basically just cutting into that bank to make the route straighter, take those two little curves out of, the blue section. And we're approving the red route on the map, is my understanding.
And I just,
That is, I believe, the current route. It just needs to be abandoned so that the current route is accurate in the mapping.
Yeah, okay.
and I don't know, through the DOC there, that the name may be something, but I feel that is an error. And
And
if we
remind,
failed to jump through a hoop
Yeah,
before,
then-
we wanna make sure we can jump through the right hoop now.
we are listed as the Mount Rogers area.
Yeah, so that may
and
be,
that may be where it's coming from,
Yeah.
but I will get some.
that's okay with the board, then we'll just table
I have the same question. Yes.
we'll table that till the next meeting.
Do we have to pass it
Should we
tonight?
table or should we approve
Approve
pursuant to?
Two.
Guess we could do it either way pursuant to the clarification of the language as River North.
I make a motion to approve the resolution pursuant to, confirming the name of the facility is correct in the resolution.
Second.
Any further discussion? If none, all in favor, let's see, there's a resolution. So we'll, roll call vote. Mr. Watson?
Aye.
Mr. Cunningham?
Aye.
Mr. Richardson? Dr. Thomas?
Aye.
Chair also aye. Okay, next would be subdivision ordinance change due to 2025 legislation change. It does, changes. Get my tongue out of it.
so I did provide in your board packet a synopsis of what this was about so that there wouldn't be any confusion. Because we're a little bit late to the game on this one. So I provided this to Linda. I hope she didn't make any changes to it. No, so I can,
Any changes to what?
no, just kind of read what I sent you because I don't have it in formal.
All I have
It's what I
is
sent
just
you.
this
Okay.
page here.
All right, sorry. It's a resolution to the Board of Supervisors of Grayson County, Virginia, directing the Planning Commission to initiate a review and revision of the county's subdivision ordinance. Whereas under section 15.2-2240 of the Code of Virginia, a locality shall adopt an ordinance to assure the orderly subdivision of land and its development. And whereas the Grayson County subdivision ordinance from time to time may be amended, supplemented, changed, modified, or repealed by the governing body pursuant to section 15.2-2253 of the Code of Virginia. And whereas the resolution is to amend various sections of the text of the subdivision for purpose of correction, modification, elaboration of general regulations, amendments are proposed for clarification of intent, addition of definitions, and correction of inconsistencies. And whereas following the 2025 General Assembly legislative session, it is necessary to implement changes required by the Code of Virginia, section 15.2, 2259, and 15.2, 2262, made by chapter 100 and of 2025 Virginia Acts of Assembly, House Bill 2660. Chapter 15 594 of the Virginia Acts of Assembly, Senate Bill 974, which became effective July 1st, 2025. And whereas the amendments related to site plan and subdivision approval authority and the maximum time period for reviewing subdivision plats, site plans, and plans of development. Whereas in order to comply with the Virginia Code, it is the desire to amend the Grayson County Subdivision Ordinance in order to promote the efficient and effective administration of the county subdivision regulations. And now therefore it be resolved for the purposes of public necessity, convenience, general welfare, and good subdivision practices, the Board of Supervisors here adopts this resolution of intent to amend the appropriate sections of the Grayson County Subdivision Ordinance to achieve the purposes described herein. And be it further resolved that the Planning Commission shall hold such public hearings on the subdivision text amendment proposed by the resolution with the intent to make its recommendation to the Board of Supervisors at the earliest possible date. Be it further resolved that the Board of Supervisors finds that these amendments are the furtherance of the public necessity, convenience, and general welfare and good subdivision practice, directs staff to prepare draft amendments for consideration, directs that the proposed amendments of this matter be brought forward for notice, hearing, and Planning Commission recommendation and Board of Supervisors action. Does anyone have any questions about the resolution?
This is just to keep up with the state's mandates.
Basically, yeah, it was legislation changed by the General Assembly in 2025.
We'll take a motion to adopt the resolution.
So move.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, do a roll call vote. It's a resolution. Mr. Watson?
Aye.
Mr. Canfield?
Uh-huh.
Mr. Richardson? Dr. Thompson?
Aye.
Chair also aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, resolution concerns smart scale support for project at Mount Vale and 89, Highway 89.
So coming back to the board with this one, we actually approved a resolution, our Board of Supervisors approved a resolution in 2024. However, that particular smart scale application was basically scored out. I've been working with Mount Rogers Planning District Commission and the VDOT people for our region, and they considered that this application, or we still have a good chance of trying to get this turn lane in. And so the turn lane comes down the steep part past the Tasty Freeze. Then there'll be another turn lane that will turn left. There'll be a stop sign with a basically right there at Mount Vale. So I've got the resolution, and then if you've got questions, I'll try to answer them the best way I can for the smart scale projects that we do from time to time. So whereas the Grayson County Board of Supervisors recognizes the importance of prioritizing transportation projects for funding by the Commonwealth Transportation Board based on an objective and fair analysis applied statewide as set forth the General Assembly House Bill 2, effective as of July 1st, 2014. Whereas the Grayson County Board of Supervisors recognizes that new transportation funding formula set forth in House Bill 1887, approved by the Virginia Assembly in February 2015, and the high priority program is defined in section 33.2-370 as the statewide competitive funding program, and the highway construction district grants program is defined in section 33.2-371 as the Bristol district competitive funding program. And whereas the smart scale, formerly known as House Bill 2, project identified within Grayson County is Route 89, Skyline Highway, and Route 618, Mount Vale Road, Turn Lane Improvement Project. Now therefore it be resolved, the Grayson County Board of Supervisors hereby approves and supports Grayson County, Virginia's submission of the aforementioned project via the candidate project pre-application submission deadline of April 1st, 2026, and a full application submission deadline of August 1st, 2026. Furthermore, the Grayson County Board of Supervisors encourages and implores the Commonwealth Transportation Board and the Virginia Department of Transportation to fund this project and supports any of and all such efforts.
Chair entertain a motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? We'll have to do a roll call vote, being a resolution. Votes are quicker. Okay, Mr. Watson. Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Richardson. Dr. Thomas.
Aye.
Chair also aye. Next brings us to a resolution to discontinuance of secondary route 755 Pond Mountain Road request.
A resolution of the Grayson County Board of Supervisors requesting discontinuance of secondary route 755 Pond Mountain Road in Grayson County. Whereas secondary route 755 from 2.5 miles west of route 726 to 1.7 mile west of route 726, a distance of 0.8 miles, appears to no longer serve public convenience, warranting its maintenance at public expense, and should be discontinued as part of the secondary system of state highways. And now therefore it be resolved, the Grayson County Board of Supervisors requests that the Virginia Department of Transportation discontinue the aforesaid portions of Route 755 as part of the secondary system of state highways pursuant to Section 33.2908 Code of Virginia as amended. Be it further resolved that a certified copy of the resolution be forwarded to the resident engineer from the Virginia Department of Transportation.
Any questions?
Does that make two dead ends on that road? Is it gonna go back to private ownership?
That was, the intent was, I had a gentleman by the name of Joseph Dela, sorry if I butchered that, contact me regarding the maintenance of Pond Mountain. So it's come to the attention of this gentleman that they were not, VDOT was not completely maintaining a section of the road. And so from the section that they plan to take it back into maintenance, from that section to the top, they do not want public access to be able to use that road. They want to maintain it privately. VDOT will hold a public hearing on this section, and then people will then have the right to be able to either agree or disagree whether or not that section of the road will be discontinued. Several months ago, I put in your books a Board of Supervisors VDOT manual, and I highlighted and tabbed discontinuance and abandonment so that you would have the ability to go back and study on what those mean. Just so when we do get into these, it'll kind of give you a little more insight on what that means and what it does entail.
I'm not familiar with that road. Does it connect?
It does not connect. It goes to the top of the mountain where a lot of people go to see the Four Corners. And so there's a forestry department that actually is up that way, and you can actually access the forestry department from there.
Any other questions? Okay. Chair, entertain a motion to adopt the resolution. We'll have a public hearing, right? People have opportunities. to speak.
They do have an opportunity to speak.
And then it would come back to us.
But just like I said, discontinuance, VDOT will actually hold that public hearing. It's not going to be part of the county. It's just you're initiating the start of this process.
And there's not been any conflict with it so far? Okay, well.
There'll be people speak.
Okay.
I'm sure the forestry department will speak. on behalf of it. So once that, my understanding is once there's some issues with people trying to get to that segment of the trail, it's likely that VDOT will not discontinue this section. But you're just formally starting the process to begin it because we received a request.
So one man wants to
Not
discontinue.
just one, the several people on that section of the road no longer wants public access on their property.
On their property, so they border that section of road is going
Yes,
to be
sir.
closed.
Yes, sir.
You keep saying forestry, and I'm thinking, is that in the?
Forestry's at the very top,
At the very
at
top.
the very top, but there are houses along that section. I think if you'll, well, you can actually see in the map, there's a segment there that's what they want to discontinue, from the green, from B, all the way to A. That's what they want to discontinue. There are several residents that own property there.
So the people that want to discontinue resident.
There's some people that actually own that portion.
Guys, the people that live along that route, that from A to B, are they all in unison in discontinuing that, or we've got neighbors fighting neighbors?
We won't know until we actually hold the public hearing as to who wants what.
This just kind of gives them an opportunity to have their say.
I make a motion to accept the resolution for the discontinuance of secondary Route 755 on Mountain Road.
Okay, do I have a second?
This is only to
Start the public
start
hearing.
of the public hearing, so they can't.
Let people have their say and then they'll have the public hearing. VDOT will. You second?
Second.
All right, resolution, roll call vote. Mr. Watson?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Cunningham? Mr. Richardson? Dr. Thompson?
Aye.
Chair also aye. Okay, next brings us to board appointments. First one is Board of Zoning Appeals, Betsy Sharon, Wilson District. And it does appear that she is willing to serve another term. That be with you?
Yes.
Okay,
I spoke to her.
okay, so you want to make a motion?
I move to put Ms. Sharon on the Board of Zoning Appeals for another term.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Chair also aye. Next is CPMT. Steve Boyer turns in on April 13th, and Mr. Boyer is willing to serve another term. Okay, so they have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Chair also aye. Next on Economic Development Authority, EDA, Timmy Dixon. I'll probably make a recommendation at the next meeting for someone. Mr. Dixon, I don't think has been able to attend. We haven't attended one meeting, so, and I know it's getting ready to be his, he's got a canoe livery down in Freeze, and it's getting ready to be his busy time of year, so I think I'll try to find someone that will be able to serve for the Providence District, so if it's okay, we'll table that. All right, next, which brings us to Emergency Service Commission, Troutville Fire, appoint Baker Martin as a primary representative and appoint Mike Lee as alternate rep. And if you want to, we can go ahead and do Troutville Rescue. Appoint Judy Arnold as primary rep and appoint Don Lee as alternate rep.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair also aye. Okay, County administrators. report.
Mr. Chair, we got an email from Mark Williams. It says Steve J. at VDOT has received the signs for Jeremy Hall Bridge dedication. There are 2 signs to be installed at the bridge and 4 gift plaques for the family. It's my understanding that the requester, which is us, is responsible for sending out ceremony invitations and setting the date for the time of the dedication, which we will do. Once VDOT is notified of the scheduled date, the signs will be installed and covered a couple of days in advance. We can discuss more details once the date's been established, so we will establish a date for that. This is posted on Facebook, it's posted on our website. It is our household hazardous waste collection and personal document shredding service that the county provides. Event hours are 8 to 11. Location 1 to 4 at the Grayson County Public Works Department. And that is April 11th, 2026. It has a list of acceptable items and items that will not be accepted. Again, this is on our website, it's on Facebook. Anywhere else? And it's been announced here again and again. It's always a yearly thing. I left you with an article. I know we talk a lot about data centers. I left you with an article to read before you go to sleep at night on Henrico County, how they're using their data center dollars for housing. So I'll leave that to your leisure and we can discuss if you want to. There's also an article in there on Virginia airport system. It's an economic impact study. As I know, you're making decisions on budgeting. It does talk a little bit about Twin County Airport, the economic impact. You're asking me for data. This is one piece of data that I can pull, and we can talk about it further at our budget session. Let's see what else. April 16th at 3 p.m. coming up. We do have our next budget meeting, and the only other thing I'll say is just for clarification, any documented call by CCOM is for we receive compensable reimbursements regardless of where it is. It was city, county, but it is eligible for that. Okay.
What was that date again, Steve?
April 16th at 3 p.m.
April 16th, okay.
It's eligible, what does that mean?
for compensable with the county
They have to
compensation.
turn it in, I guess is what that means.
That's it. All right, no one has asked me for any supervisor's time, and we do not have a closed session scheduled. So at this time, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair also aye.